welcome back to Bonus Energy with your co-host of Cattail returning.
Hello.
And we're doing a video that I've always wanted to do. I wanted to do it the last couple of years, didn't get to it. And I'm basically going over everything I watched in 2024. Just about everything. So I rate every movie, show, whatever I watch on IMDb. Basically anything I've seen for the first time or haven't rated yet, I will rate it on here. Therefore, it's kind of cataloging what I'm watching. So it's very useful to me. I just wanted to go through and just take a look for fun. And kind of do like mini reviews for everything. Because that's another thing I've always considered is doing movie reviews, right?
You could do like a monthly thing, but I think this yearly system is probably going to work better.
I thought about doing that too, like a month in review. These are all the movies I watched this month or whatever. Anyway, I don't know how long it's going to be, so I'll just get into it. So, first movie I saw on New Year's Day was Barbie.
New Year's Eve, actually.
Yeah. Okay, so I watched it with Cattail, actually.
Yeah.
We watched it technically on New Year's Eve. I rated it on, I guess, after midnight, which is fine. Yeah. And then this is on IMDb again. So if you're not familiar with this, basically the yellow star is the rating that everyone on the site gives. This is based on this many reviews. So like this is the average rating, what it has. The one in blue is going to be what I gave it. So in this case, it's pretty on par. You know, I'd agree with what it has. So,
I actually think 6.8 is a little low, but I guess that's just because it was somewhat controversial. I think it has less ratings than I thought it would.
And then we're going to get to some animes on here, which is going to be interesting because I've also wanted to do some anime discussion videos. So I guess technically this is the first one which I would have watched last year, but maybe finished it on the 1st. This was also rated on the 1st. This is a good show. End of 2024, I watched season 2 that came out this year, last year, whatever. And it was even better than season 1. So I gave season 1 like a 7 out of 10. Season 2 is probably an 8 out of 10. So maybe the show overall is an 8 out of 10. I don't know. Good show, though. Would recommend it. So you'll see this on some shows. So for movies, it'll just tell you the year. For the shows, it'll have this like range of years, which will basically tell you when it ran. If it's still going, that won't have a second year. However, this is not always accurate, especially with animes, because what will happen is they'll take like a 2 or 3 year hiatus and then come back and do another season. So,
or like 12.
Yeah, so technically, according to this, they're done with the 2 seasons, but that's not for sure. Old boy, oh boy. So I was hearing nonstop things about this movie. All these people, like people who would call themselves film critics, but they're like YouTube or TikTok film critics. Those kinds of film critics. And they're like, oh, Old Boy is a classic. That is one of the best movies I've ever seen. And you can kind of tell what I thought of it off my rating here. 8.3 is supposedly really good. That's like a top 250 movies of all time good, according on IMDb anyway. A 5 for me means you were okay. And in this case, it was barely okay. This is one of those movies that is like, it's trying to do something, and you can tell what it's doing, and you either like it or you don't like it. And if you like it, you like really like it. You think, oh, that was one of the best philosophical creations ever. And I just don't care. It was stupid. Unfortunately, a waste of 2 hours in my opinion. I just didn't like it. Not that it was badly made or anything like that. It's just, nope. No thanks.
Yeah.
So The Whale. You didn't watch The Whale with us, right?
No, I did not.
I didn't realize it's been a year. I thought it was, hadn't been that long. But I guess it's been a year since seeing The Whale. So, good movie. Brendan Fraser won for this. I think it was deserved, even though I did like Austin Butler's Elvis. You know, if you're going to lose to someone, this was the one you lose to. It's an A24. They're kind of hit or miss for me. I think this was a hit. Belle. This was a interesting. If I remember correctly, it's a hybrid 2D 3D animated anime movie, which is it's basically like a Beauty and the Beast thing. Which I think ultimately it's more like a 6. I gave it a 7 bump because some of the visuals were really good and the music was good, so I'm fine with it. But, you know, good if you like those kinds of things. I'd recommend it. Sound of Freedom was one I watched because I thought it was going to get an Oscar nomination. It did not. However, it was pretty good. Probably one you'd only watch once. It's pretty heavy subject, but good. Wouldn't be a waste of time. Dumb Money, also good. You watched that with us.
Yes.
So this one you watched. Good. I forget a lot of it, but I forget a lot.
The worst thing about the movie and what probably took off the whole point was just like the music choice. But other than that, I would consider it pretty good.
Good cast, good everything. So I give that one a 7. That means, by the way, a 7. If you see I give something a 7, that means I recommend it. And if I see something on here that's not a 7, or less than a 7, but I will recommend it, I'll just call it out. So, The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly. This is in the top 10 movies of all time, which is why I watched it. It is a Western, Clint Eastwood. I am not a fan of Westerns. It was 3 hours long. It was boring to me. I didn't like it. And I fully admit, whatever is bias still work for like negative
yes.
bias? I'll admit that. I don't care. But that's what I give it. So, not for me. I know it's a fan favorite, obviously, because it's got an 8.8, a little up there.
Yeah.
This is the beginning of my Fast and Furious watch through. So this is the first one.
Forgot you did that.
Yep. We'll see. I'll let you know how far I made it in that, but when we get there. So this one I gave a 6 out of 10, but I would recommend it. This is one I'm talking about. So 6 out of 10, but I'd recommend it. It's just fun. The first few are fun because they kind of take themselves seriously, but not really. Like, they know what they are. I got the first 2. I have this one in a 4K Steelbook. It's pretty nice. I would recommend it. It's not too long. It's entertaining. Good. Why not, Now we get to Konosuba. Is this the second anime on the list? Not counting the movie? That other movie?
I believe so.
So at the time of watching this, which had been on my watch list ever since I started watching anime again, there was only 2 seasons. So when I watched this, there was 2 seasons. Now there's 3, which I watched later in the year. But it won't show up again because I rated it when I watched 2. And then after the 3rd season, I decided it was still a 7 out of 10. But it's a very, very high 7 out of 10. The show is hilarious. It's got great cast, great voice acting, really entertaining. Definitely, I don't know where it lands on my list, but it's, one I would definitely recommend. It's also pretty beginner friendly, but at the same time it's not because it plays with tropes in the genre that I don't think you would understand if you hadn't seen other shows. So it's kind of both, but just watch it. The score. So this is one of those movies I saw that, like, I thought it was good, and then, like, over time you like slowly think about it more and more, and then you realize, it's better, like, I like it more and more. And now it's at the point where I'm trying to find it on Blu-ray so I can own it. But it's a good one. Robert De Niro and Edward Norton.
So, do you think you'd re-rate that one on rewatch?
No. I've had movies I've rated incorrectly in the past, so I've tried to correct that this last year. So what I think I did here was I could tell that this would be one that I would grow on more, or would grow on me. So I think I bumped it up. I was probably in between a 6 or a 7. I gave it the benefit of the doubt 7. And then now, a year later, I'm like, yeah, that was the right choice.
Yeah.
I think this one was definitely, it's kind of like a typical heist movie, but it's more fun. And then you have just, these kinds of actors in here that are just going to be a level above. Kind of adds more to it, more entertaining, got that extra edge. So
yeah,
good movie, would recommend it.
Heist movies also seem like one of the more creative genres because you always have to come up with something to make yourself stand out.
Right. Yeah, and then this one kind of had like again, not exactly an innovation, but it had like a little bit of the betrayal thing. You got to work with some guy you don't trust, but it's just fun watching that dynamic. Here's the Konosuba movie, which I gave an 8 out of 10. I'd have to double check my list again. I should probably just pull up my list, but I think it's top 5 anime movies I've ever seen. 8th best anime movie I've ever seen, and it's up against some pretty good contenders. Very, very good. I just recommend the whole series. We'll get to the spin-off shortly, I think. Okay, here we go. We're getting into the Oscar season here.
Yep, so Oscar season.
I think at this point we must have seen the nominees because I got 2 back-to-back here.
Yes. At this point, this probably was when it was announced.
So Maestro is Bradley Cooper's Oscar bait movie for Netflix. Not very good. At best, you can say there's 2 really strong performances, but after a certain point, you're just watching that for the whole movie. I don't know. You need more than just performances. Yeah.
I think there's a reason no one talks about Maestro anymore.
I've never heard anyone talk. I've only heard it brought up in Oscar conversations, and only for that year. It'll never be mentioned again. Ever. Except for that one time Bradley Cooper tried and failed, basically. So then we go to Killers of the Flower Moon, Scorsese's 3.5-hour Oscar Best Picture nominee. It lost a whole point for me for being over 3 hours long. That was ridiculous. I understand the source. Literally, as this movie came out, I was taking a Native American literature class. So no one knew more about what was going on than me. It wasn't bad, just way too long. You can't keep my interest for 3.5 hours on something like this. You just can't, all right? Either do a mini-series or clean it up for 2 hours. But the last hour was definitely the best part. But at that point, I was done. Too Fast, Too Furious, second one. This is the other one that I own. This is also fun like the first one. Significant drop-off from the rating. It's like a whole point lower than the first one, but I gave it about the same. Equal entertainment. Holdovers.
Ooh.
Good movie. We just rewatched this, actually.
Yeah.
And I probably liked it even more the second time. This is a really strong movie from last year. The runner-up to Oppenheimer, I would say, for Best Picture would be this.
Yeah.
Was it nominated for Best Picture or just had a bunch of other nominations?
It was. Yeah.
Really, really good movie. If you haven't seen it, definitely check it out.
Honestly, I need to rewatch Oppenheimer again, but like, I don't know. This movie is very, very good. I definitely think it's going to be a classic.
Killers of the Flower Moon is, to me, a boring movie. Maestro is a boring movie. The Holdovers, it's over 2 hours. There's no fight scenes. There's no action, no car chases, none of that stuff. But it holds your attention for the entire time. You care about the characters. You're following them. All this stuff. This is just how you do that kind of movie properly. And I was glad to see that is the case. Because after watching the 10 Best Pictures, and half of them are these over 2 hour movies that are boring, do nothing with their 2 hours, I'm glad to see one of them did. Okay, here's the Konosuba prequel spinoff with the best character in the show. It's not great. It has a lot of downtime, which is kind of unfortunate because it's only 12 episodes and there's a lot of what do they call it? Meandering.
Yeah.
So, but it's fine. It's good. Probably a 7 is a little bias. I'll admit it. Probably more like a 6. But it is entertaining. It's fairly short still. If you like the show, you'd like this. I think you should probably watch this before the show, and then the show is just better than this. So is the movie. So yeah, Doctor Strangelove is a Kubrick movie which I watched. It was one of the few Kubrick movies I had to watch. It is all right, mostly because it's only an hour and a half. I think if it was any longer, it'd probably go down to a 5. It was supposed to be a dark comedy, from what I understand. And I'm sure there was some parts in there that were humorous. I remember some things working. I don't think it keeps it up the whole time. And it's really hard to tell when they're trying to be funny and they're trying and then they just don't know what they're doing. In World War II, they have those machine guns. The American had those machine guns, the belt-fed ones. So there's one guy shooting the gun, and then there's one guy holding the belt. This guy in this movie uses it by himself. He's holding it. And he's holding it by the barrel the whole time, and he's shooting out the window or whatever he's doing. And I stopped caring because I'm like, no, you clearly. Again, maybe he was doing that on purpose because he was trying to be funny, but I didn't get the feeling that was what it was. So, whatever. 6 out of 10. Not a Kubrick fan. Cat Returns, short anime. Oh, this is the sequel to. Was that Whisper of the Heart, the Ghibli that we watched?
Oh.
This is the sequel to that. Kind of. Remember the cat?
Yeah.
The cat from the movie, he gets his own mini spin-off thing. That's what this is. It's pretty short. It's good. So they go to Cat World and they do cat stuff. So
I may need to see that sometime.
Yeah, you'd like it. There's like a whole cat society and King Cat and all that stuff. Whatever, pretty good. Justice League RWBY Part 2. I watched Part 1 in 23. Here was Part 2.
Yeah,
not bad. I think this one was stronger than the first one for sure, if I remember correctly.
I think everybody overhated these movies. I think it was mostly just because it isn't exactly clear what the audience for these is.
Yeah, they're like a niche of a niche. I'm surprised they were made at all, honestly.
Yeah, but I definitely think if you can kind of just like get past that part, you will enjoy them for what they are.
Yeah, I mean, I think honestly, probably RWBY people would like them more because I don't know, but they're not the worst thing ever. Not what I would recommend to.
Yeah, we haven't even seen the show, and we still, had a good time with them.
Yeah, Absolute Duo, decent anime, not bad. Got it for pretty cheap. It's average but good. La Bamba, we watched this. It's been a year, almost a year. Good movie. Yeah. One of those biopics, I guess, kind of.
Yeah.
So
I definitely think that movie works like a lot. The first viewing is definitely impacted by how much though.
I would think the strength of it is compared to things like either Elvis or Bohemian Rhapsody, which are pretty more well-known things, is less known than those other artists. So I think getting a movie for someone like this is much more impactful, and I appreciate that. So good movie, would recommend it. Clue, I guess I didn't have a rating for Clue, or I bumped it up. I think I might have bumped it up. So very solid.
You had Clue at a 6?
I think I might have, but that was from like 2020 or something. I didn't know what I was doing. I fine-tuned
clearly not
stuff. It's an entertaining movie. Not too long. Again, you'll notice a lot of these movies that don't overstay their welcome favor better because they know what they're doing to get to the point, but they're not rushed. So just if you've never seen Clue, watch Clue. Yamada, another anime. It's good. Obviously, I like it. It's a good show, but it's average in its genre. Like a 7 out of 10 for this type of show is average. Good one. Third, Fast and Furious. This one took a significant dip for me. I think what really went wrong here was the main cast was absent. They had like new guys, and I didn't care. Nothing much to say on that. Didn't really like it. Trinity 7, another anime. Only interesting thing about this is that I could not find the dub of it on like Crunchyroll or anything, so I had to buy the Blu-ray, which had the dub. So I watched it there, and it was very interesting. If you've seen the show before, you know of the show, you know why it's interesting. But oh boy, it's funny. It's not bad, but oh boy, that show. Taken. That was not us, right? I just watched that. We didn't all watch that. I'm pretty sure I saw this on my own. Not bad.
Yeah.
Pretty good, pretty short too. So if you've never seen it, there's really no reason not to. Liam Neeson, classic. Then we get. I made an effort to watch both of the Trinity 7, technically movies. This one didn't hit an hour, so on my scale, it wouldn't count as a movie. This one went over an hour. Apparently, I like the second one more than the first one. I don't remember either. So, but there you go. These were not dubbed. And they don't exist in a dub, and they were not included on the Blu-ray. So these I did have a stream. Ooh, Lego DC Batman movie Family Matters. I've been wanting to watch this one for a while.
This is probably one of the movies we talked the most about the entire year.
Yeah, because I probably knew of this when it came out in 2019. Red Hood, it had like all the Robins in it, Batgirl, all this stuff. And I was just curious to check it out forever. Finally got to it, and it is actually pretty good. Like, again, I don't think you wouldn't watch this if you weren't a DC fan or a Batman fan. But if you are, this is like everything you want, pretty much. It's I don't know, it's just got a lot. It's funny. It's not like super kiddie from what I remember. I just got to rewatch it. I have this. I haven't watched my version of it yet. So we got to watch it.
Yeah, I'd watch that. Yeah.
I got it for free from Amazon because they screwed up, and then they're like, "Oh, you can just have it." I'm like, "All right." Oh.
Ooh.
Okay. So I watched the first one as well. It used to be down here. I re-rated it toward the end of the year, so it'll be higher on this list.
Yeah.
But I watched these about like 3 or 4 days apart. The second one at the time when I watched these for the first time, I liked the second one more than the first one. And after I saw the second one, I was in for the third one. I think like I just immediately looked up, when did the third one come out? Oh, end of this year? All right, 11 months to go. Really, really good movies. This one, you gotta be prepared for some dumb fun. That's what this movie is. If you're already a fan, you're gonna excuse it all anyway, and you're gonna. I think
that's just what the Sonic movies kind of are in general. It's just dumb fun, but like the good kind, you know.
All three are different, and I'll get to the other two when I get to them. This one, more than the other two, I think, ask a lot of patience as a viewer. There's a lot of stuff on here that goes off the rails. And I can imagine some people, like the average 40-year-old, I don't know why you'd be watching this movie, but if you are, it may be like, I don't know about that.
Yeah.
So, but it's good.
Hot take, actually. I think this one is the best finale of the 3 Sonic movies. And I know that will probably be controversial with the third one out, but I do think this one is my favorite finale.
I will say this has the best credit song. I'll say that. And then obviously Tails introduced, and he's in it. Favorite character, if you didn't know.
Yeah. A little bit of context. Nick here was not a Sonic fan at the beginning of the year, and then he watched the Sonic movies, and you'll see as we go along, he kind of fell down the Sonic rabbit hole, and now Tails is like a top 5 character for him.
Of all time. Not just in Sonic, but I'll get to that more when I get to the first movie, which is higher up, but yeah, I watched the first 2 here, and then from there's like a snowball thing. There's some more Sonic content as we get there. Fast and Furious is the 4th one. The original cast came back, so it was a better movie. I wouldn't mind owning this, but I don't really care to own it. Like, you know, if I had to pick it up for like a buy 3 for this deal thing, then it wouldn't be the worst thing ever, but it's not bad. It's fine. Apparently it's higher rated than the second one. I'd probably disagree. They get a little more serious in this one. It's just I think it was less for me. You know, didn't like it as much.
Fast and Furious just seems like a dumb fun franchise. I don't know why you would want to take it super seriously.
Right. Well, this is when they start working for like the government or whatever. And it's like, oh, we got a job to do. It's like, dude, go back to street racing, like gangsters and stuff. That was fun. I will give them this. They keep them under 2 hours, so they're not wasting your time, unlike some other directors. Denis. This Means War. Interesting movie. Chris Pine, I think Reese Witherspoon, and then Tom Hardy. The only reason I saw this movie was because I saw it was on sale on Walmart for like $6 or whatever. So I looked it up, saw who was in it. I'm like, sure, I'll give it a try. Watched it. Actually thought it was pretty good. So you just never know. But kind of how you'll find good movies, and that's always the best feeling for those of you who collect physical media. Buying a movie you've never seen, giving it a chance, and then really liking it, and then just like proudly putting it on your shelf back there with everything else. Like that's a good feeling. Lost City. I don't remember why I watched this. It was okay.
Was somebody in it?
Oh, Brad Pitt was in it, and Sandra Bullock. I like Sandra Bullock. But it's, I don't know, a lot of missed opportunities. It's kind of just a Paramount nothing burger, but it's not the worst thing ever. But I wouldn't recommend it. You could pass. Saga of Tanya the Evil. Another anime, pretty good. I gave it an 8 out of 10. Pretty short too. This is different than a lot of other animes I've seen. It's very serious. It's very like war focused. There's no comedy edge really, and it's kind of like a alternate timeline, World War One-ish type thing. It's kind of interesting. I would check it out, even if you don't really like those kinds of stuff. It's short enough. I don't know. Just give it a chance.
I'm guessing it's not on Blu-ray because you don't own it.
No, I do own it. That's
Oh, you do?
Our brother got this for me for Christmas, which is why I watched it.
Oh, that's right.
And then just up here, we'll see we watched the movie. This one is dubbed. Not dubbed. It's subbed. Pretty long, actually, for an anime movie. But it's good, also. So, just good stuff. Project Almanac. This one was recommended to me by Richard, and I had it on my watch list for about 3 years. Finally watched it this year. That'll be a trend with a lot of this stuff. Finally got to it. Pretty good. It's a found footage movie about a dude who invents a time machine in his garage. It kind of goes how you'd expect it, because he's in high school, all this stuff. But the found footage thing gives it an interesting edge, I guess, perspective. And then what I think really made it work was the dynamic with the group of friends. I think that really, this could have been whatever. It's not too inspired, but I think because they had a lot of charm to them, it worked. So, good movie, would recommend Project Almanac. Pump Up the Volume, not Val Kilmer. Christian Slater. Every time I see that poster, I say, hey, it's Val Kilmer. No, it's Christian Slater. Pirate radio station in high school in the 90s, or I guess late 80s it takes place in. Pretty interesting. Never seen it, which I highly doubt you have. Only 32,000 reviews. Not a lot. So I would check that out. That's an underrated, unknown gem, I would say. Looney Tunes Back in Action.
Okay, a little bit of context about this one. I was good. So every week, we have a movie theater thing. I was going to pick this one for my movie theater movie a full year before we watched it, and we'd been talking about watching it for a long time.
Yeah, I had watched it in 2020, I think, in which I'd give it a 6 out of 10 or something. Because I don't know, I think certain things like this, you just got to be in the right mood for it. Because it's good. It's good as what it's trying to do. It's doing its job. But if you're not in the mood for that, it's not gonna go. I think also in 2020 I was watching a lot of more serious stuff, so this was kind of like a not really fitting in. But it's good. It's a fun Looney Tunes movie. I don't know if it's better than Space Jam. I won't answer that right now. I will say the voice actors for Bugs and Daffy are better in this movie than they are in Space Jam. I would say I like these ones better.
I do think it's better than Space Jam, honestly. I think Space Jam has better moments, but I think Back in Action overall is better.
Yeah, I would probably agree with that. But Brendan Fraser, come on, go watch Looney Tunes Back in Action. Fast Five. This is the one that did it. After this one, I was out. There's a scene in here with his sports car. He attaches his sports car to a ginormous safe about as big as my room and pulls it out of the wall at a bank and drags it down LA through the streets at 100 miles an hour. I can suspend disbelief on a lot of things, but when you're watching that, nope.
Honestly, the thing that stuck out to me most in that description was the fact they didn't just run into LA traffic.
The streets are abandoned. I'm literally everything that is happening right now is the most unrealistic thing ever. Have you been to LA? Come on.
The most unrealistic thing is just the empty streets, not even the safe or anything.
It doesn't make any... I don't care.
You did give it a 6, though.
Because for the most part it was dumb fun. That was at the end where it just lost me altogether. And I could tell from that point on, it was just going to be more of that, and I didn't really care for it. I did want to go to 7 because my favorite character in all these movies is, I forget, Paul Walker. I think that's the actor. I don't remember who he plays. Brian O'Connor. I think that's it. But he's my favorite, and he's in the first 7. But I just couldn't do it. Maybe sometime I'll go back and watch the other 2, but no rush. That's as far as I made it in the Fast series, and that was about a month. So we're already done with the Fast and Furious. Equilibrium is Christian Bale's Matrix ripoff film. It is not bad. I want to rewatch. I gave it a 6 because I think it just kind of dragged too much. It was getting too philosophical, focused too much on the world building rather than being cool. But just to tell you what kind of film this is, the martial arts in this movie is called Gun Fu, if I'm remembering that correctly.
That kind of just tells me everything I need to know.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy, but I would watch it again. I don't know how they got Christian Bale to do this movie. I don't know why he did it, but he's one of those guys who just, I guess, will have fun. So there you go. Girl Online, another anime. Surprisingly really funny. This one's a really funny one. So if you like kind of the comedy ones, and this is one of those it's like those high school fantasy hybrid shows where they play fantasy games. So half of the show is them in the game, and then half of them is in high school. So pretty interesting. I like those kinds of ones, but pretty fun. Boys in the Hood, Ice Cube's, I think, his first movie. I think so. We'll get to Friday in a little bit. I don't know. This one was I liked it. I didn't think it was that good. I can see why people think it's that good. But I don't know. I guess wasn't for me, I guess. But I can see the 7.8. I just personally don't give it a 7.8. if that makes sense. Scooby-Doo and Batman Brave and the Bold. So this is the actual Scooby-Doo movie, not the fake lie movie that I had. But actually pretty good. This is fun. They Batman and like The Question and some other people have like Detective Chimp, they have like a club of detectives, and they're doing like tryouts for the Mystery Incorporated thing. It's Brave and the Bold, so it's pretty goofy Batman, but it works. So, and it's not very long, so I would own this if it exists on Blu-ray. Clerks. So at this point, I had bought the Kevin Smith Kevin Smith 3-pack Blu-ray thing from Target, I think. And two films I had never seen, one I had seen. Clerks was one of them. First movie he ever made. Very interesting stories about this movie. If you've never seen it, or if you have seen it, you probably know the stories, but definitely check it out. Especially if you're an aspiring filmmaker or interested in that, watch this movie and then do research on it. It kind of gives hope to everybody. It's like, really, he was able to make that movie. I can make the movie I'm trying to do. You have access to things that he didn't at the time. Very good movie, pretty funny. I'll probably pick this for a movie theater this year, most likely. Hustler.
Word to it.
What's his name? Paul Newman. Classic movie. This was an 8.0, if I remember correctly, when I rated it. It was probably me who dragged it below an 8. It's fine. I don't know. It's long, and not a whole lot happens in it. I mean, this is the movie you watch if you're a Paul Newman fan and you just like watching him, which he's fine. I don't have a problem with him. It's just not exactly would be my first pick. So, decent movie. It's one of those classics, though. You kind of one of those ones I'd say you probably have to see at some point, but, your enjoyment of it will be dependent. Informant. This is the one that Dad got for Christmas. So I watched that. Matt Damon. Not bad. Apparently I gave it a 7, so I liked it. Would recommend it, according to that score. Adventureland, one that I had rated previously a 6. I rewatched it this year with my parents, and I bumped it up to a 7. Very good. Jesse Eisenberg. He's not in a whole lot now that I think about it, but the stuff that he is in, he picks good projects for the most part. So I would recommend Adventureland. Chasing Amy. This is the second movie of that Kevin Smith 3-pack. Very good. Early Ben Affleck, which is very fun to see. It's just a good movie. A little long for a Kevin Smith. I think that's probably his biggest problem for some of his movies, is they just run a little long. But he said before, he doesn't care who says what. He makes the movies he wants to make. You either like it, you don't. The studios either give him money or they don't. And ultimately, if you know how he became a filmmaker in the first place, how he still operates as a filmmaker, no one's arguing with him anymore. So just watch his movies or don't watch his movie. Castle in the Sky. Here's a Ghibli. I think I started my Ghibli watch in like 23, so there'll be some Ghibli spread out here. I was working through Ghibli. So this year for animated, you'll see a lot of Ghiblis and DreamWorks. Those are the ones I was going through. I'm done with Pixar at this point, basically.
Yeah. And Disney as a whole, other animal.
Yeah. So some of these Ghiblis that are highly rated, like a 8s or whatever, like Howl's Moving Castle, all that stuff. I like these movies. I didn't grow up with them, so I think I kind of gave them a point below what they typically run, which, in this case would be 8. Gave it a 7. Still like it. Still recommend it. Obviously, there's some of the best things you could ever watch animation-wise. But I think for me, some of them are just kind of long. But it's not bad, and I don't remember these too much, but that's with everything I watch, if I only watch it once. So
yeah, he has a thing with movies and watching them like that.
Yeah, but that always makes it interesting when you rewatch stuff. Cowboys and Aliens. This is a movie theater pick, so you watch this too?
Yes, it was.
Yeah, decent, not bad, not much to say on that. It's just 2 hours of entertainment.
Yeah,
basically what it is. Is that a J.J. Abrams? I don't remember who directed that.
But I don't think it was J.J. Abrams. But
it looks like a J.J. Abrams poster. I don't know. Maybe it was.
I think it's just that kind of movie.
Snowman. This is a short animation. Pretty good if you've never seen it.
I will chime in a little bit here, though. I will say that you kind of need to be prepared for some of the animation styling because it may hurt your head to watch.
Yeah, it's not too long, but it's like a colored pencil type of animation thing. But it's good. This was one of those artsy things that you'd probably only watch if you're into that. I don't know if I'd put it on for kids or whatever, but
I think it's good though.
Yeah, it's good. Legion of Superheroes. This is like the long lost animated DC show on the levels of like Static Shock, but I'm pretty sure Static Shock is more known than Legion of Superheroes.
Yeah, no, Static Shock has its decent fan base.
Yeah, well, it has Batman in it, so automatically it's above this, voiced by Kevin Conroy. But this is not a bad show. It's actually interesting. I appreciated how it was written. It's kind of that classic cartoon, superhero cartoon, where it's like, yeah, it's made for kids, but it's not written for kids in mind. It's not dumb. It's got serious storylines going on. Between seasons, the characters actually age and grow up, and then they deal with like more mature, things in the end. It's not the most compelling thing. Could have easily been a lot better, but I appreciated the whole Superman angle where they focused on the Legion, which is created in the image behind the beliefs of what Superman is to not just people but heroes. But then it also takes an early Superman from the past, throws him into the future, and he has to team up with the team that is inspired by his future self. It's an interesting thing, and I think it worked for the most part. I think another flaw... Oh, Brainiac. Brainiac 5 is pretty good. Very, what do you call him, a dynamic character? Interesting.
Whenever you bring up Brainiac 5, I think you always think he's a good character.
I've only seen him a couple times, but from what I've seen, he's done well. When he was first introduced in Supergirl, he was fun and interesting. He was good for the cast. Ruined him later, of course, because that's what the CW will do. But I remember the good parts of him. He was in the Legion of Superheroes movie from the now dead the Tomorrowverse that came after the DC AMU.
Yeah,
he was a good character in that. Also with Supergirl there. And then here, he's good. So I've only seen him a few times, but he's probably my favorite Legionnaire, just based on what I've seen. Madam Web, hate this movie. I've only given two out of 10s on this entire IMDb thing, which I think I have about 1.5 thousand reviews. So only two things have ever received a 2 out of 10. It's Madam Web and Catwoman. Those are stupid movies.
I was watching the Minecraft highlights when they came out, and I just remember my incredulity at the fact they were going to see Madam Web.
I'll stand by my going to actually see it, and I hate the fact that we gave them money, but it was one of those things where I do think it was an experience where it was like, this is terrible. I want to see this train wreck. It's not, I don't know, it's not something like... I would feel worse going to see Craven because that is so just average. It's, I don't know, like, this movie's insulting for how bad it is, but at the same time it's amazing that something that bad was made and put into theaters. It's just kind of an accomplishment all on its own. No more time on Madam Web. Unfinished Business. This was a supposed comedy with Vince Vaughn and Dave Franco and somebody else. But it was whatever. No Way Out. This is also a movie theater pick, I think. This is Kevin Costner. Remember the one? I think he works at like the CIA or something, and he's like trying to...
It sounds very familiar. I do think I did watch this one.
I think this is a movie theater pick. It was good. It's a good thriller, suspense thriller. Don't remember it too much. I would watch it again. I'd probably own it. But just if you like things like, I guess Jack Ryan is a good. It's a very Jack Ryan-esque type of thriller, or some of those like political spy thriller type things. Yeah. If you like those. Cross of Iron is a foreign World War II film about the Eastern Front, like Germany versus Russia, if I remember correctly. I think it was just missed potential. I heard a lot of good stuff about it. Apparently other people like it. Maybe there's something in there I'm missing, but it was just kind of, it was no Saving Private Ryan. And I don't think I'll ever find a Saving Private Ryan. I was looking for films that covered the Eastern conflict. Because you ever heard of those, really? Like, it's a forgotten part of World War II, is the Russians versus the Germans. So I was looking for some movies that covered that. And it kind of did. It was somewhat interesting, but it was also pretty generic. And it didn't really give me what I was looking for. So it was all right, I guess. 1977. That's interesting. Origins Fears of the Past. This is like a standalone anime movie. Not bad. Not the greatest thing ever, but not bad. Aquaman Lost Kingdom. At this point, I was, I guess, catching up on 2023 DC releases. This would be the last one. They finally added it to Max, and it was a whole lot of nothing. It was boring. I didn't care. The charm of Jason Momoa didn't work on me. Didn't care. Blah, 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 whatever. I don't...
Let's skip the Flash if they want to know our thoughts.
I'll just say, starting, I don't remember when we started, but we watched... me and him watched The Flash 1 through 5, and then after we were done, I watched the rest of the series so I could just see it in its entirety one time, be done, and do all that. So 6 out of 10 is about my average score for this show. A 7.5 is not accurate for this show. This used to be like a 7.8 show or higher when it first came out. It's dropped significantly. If it came out now in its entirety, it would probably be like a 6.4 or something.
It would be lower than that.
It's the second half of the show is bad, but I watched it in its entirety. Here's my review of it. We either have or will have a podcast episode about The Flash.
Wait, did you not upload it yet?
I don't know. I can't remember. So it will be on this channel some point revolving this video.
See, top of our game, people.
Yeah.
What you subscribe for.
Kong Skull Island. This has been on my list forever, ever since I watched the first Godzilla, which I actually really liked. So I was waiting for this, and it was just not streaming, and then eventually I just borrowed someone's movie, and I watched it, and I liked it, and it's fine. Good movie. Probably the best movie Brie Larson will ever be in. Pink Panther, this was your pick for a movie theater. Not bad.
Yeah.
Not a bad use of an hour and a half. Pretty kiddie, I would say, but that doesn't inherently make it bad. How's the Time Machine? This movie's fine. It's entertaining, funny. The most interesting thing about it is it's 2010 and stars John Cusack. I don't know what he's been in since then. I don't know what he was in around that time, but the fact there's a 2010s movie with John Cusack, I guess. Sure. Poor Things, another Oscar movie. Watch this. It's long. It's weird. It wasn't as boring as some other movies, but it also didn't exactly earn its runtime, and it was fine. Good performances. I think Emma Stone won for this, which I think I saw that coming. I think I guessed that when we did our Oscar thing, but it's not bad. I don't think I'd recommend it though. Probably pass on that. Again, it's something I haven't heard mentioned since the Oscars. I've heard nonstop talk about Oppenheimer. And I don't think it's because it won Best Picture. I think it deserved winning Best Picture, but I don't think the continued conversation around Oppenheimer is because it won Best Picture. I think it's because it's a good movie, and it's one that people care to rewatch and people care to discuss. And apparently, Poor Things is not that. Kiki's Delivery Service, another Ghibli. I really liked this one. This is a yes one. As far as I remember, this is my first time watching it.
No, it was not.
Well, again, from what I remember, I probably watched it as a kid. Don't remember watching it.
No, we watched it like a few years back.
No, I wasn't there. You guys watched it without me. We talked about this when me and Mom watched it not too long ago, like a month ago. But really good. I think it's my favorite Ghibli. It's either this or Whisper of the Heart. One of those two. Really good. American Fiction, another Best Picture nominee. Did you watch it? You didn't watch this with us.
No, did not watch American Fiction.
You would like it. It's what's his name? Jeffrey Wright, the Felix Leiter from the Craig movies. Really funny. Like a underrated comedy. If it's
this one, I would want to see. You were talking about it the other day. And, yeah.
Again, no one talked about it when it came out. A lot of people rated it. Actually, it's a surprising amount of ratings. I don't know. So I guess people do care about the Oscars. They're watching Oscar-nominated movies. Good movie though. I think that one deserved to be in that recommendation.
First video game on the list for the year, though.
This is probably the hottest take of the whole year. I gave it a 5 out of 10. In my defense, I really like the story. I obviously really like Star Wars. Public Commandos are awesome. The gameplay holds this game back. The gameplay has not aged well. It just, compared to a lot of modern shooters, and that's fine. I think that's anyone would guess that, probably.
I think even compared to the shooters at the time, because like Halo 2 would have been out at the time.
Yeah, you had 2 Halos at this point, which still play fine. Yeah, so that's true. Yeah, there is no excuse. I guess people who've played it back in the day and still play it now are used to the way it plays, but it's not just the gunplay, it's the enemy diversity and enemy like scaling, power scaling. It just wasn't done the best. I don't know. It could use a remake. Let's just leave it at that. But I'm just saying, if I was able to make one movie for Disney, I would make a live action Republic Commando movie. Because it would make them $1 billion, guaranteed, and then I could make whatever movie I wanted after that. Godzilla King of Monsters, I was waiting to watch this movie until I'd seen Kong, even though I'm pretty sure it has nothing to do with it. That's just how I am.
Unrelated.
This one was fine. It kind of let me down after I really liked the first Godzilla movie. Significant drop off, but not the worst thing. Yeah. I remember being between a 5 and a 6, and I think I gave it a pity 6, but it's probably more like a 5, if I remember correctly.
I like it just because it's got a lot of the monsters in it.
Yeah, he likes it more than I do. That's fine. The Warriors. A very interesting movie. I want to own this. I was looking for a sale on it, but I can't find it for a good price. It's a classic. I would recommend everyone check this out. It's not too long. It's just really weird. If I remember correctly, it's New York. I think it's New York, and it's like a bunch of different street gangs with like their different like themes going on. So like the one that the most famous one is the I forget what they're called. I want to say the Fastball Furies, but I know that's wrong. They're like a baseball gang. They all dress up in like baseball stuff, wear face paint and batting helmets, and they go around like beating people up with baseball bats. It's like the weirdest thing, but it's just funny and it's ridiculous. So I would check out The Warriors. Jerry Maguire, this is not my first time seeing it. This is my second time seeing it. First time I gave it a 7 out of 10. I rewatched it after I got it for Christmas, I believe, with my parents, and I bumped it up to an 8. Very good Tom Cruise movie. Way up there. I would recommend anyone who... I'd imagine everyone's seen like a Top Gun Maverick or some Mission Impossibles or whatever, but if you want to see actual like actor Tom Cruise, you watch Jerry Maguire, you watch A Few Good Men, those kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Those are really good real acting Tom Cruise movies. Anthropoid is one, like kind of like that other one. I bought this, hadn't seen it before, but it was part of a deal, and it had Cillian Murphy in it, which I liked before Oppenheimer came out. I knew one day he would get his own movie, and he did, and guess what? He won Best Actor for it. This is an interesting movie. It's like, I think they're like Czechoslovakians or whatever. I don't remember exactly, but it's an assassination attempt on one of Hitler's like top commanders, and then it goes south and they get stuck in a church and all this stuff. It's a pretty interesting watch. It's a very time period thing, very authentic, very interesting. If you like World War II movies, I would check it out.
That reminded me of that the other Tom Cruise. Yeah, Valkyrie. We watched that last year too.
Mm-hmm. I showed that. Valkyrie. Another good Tom Cruise. I watched a few Dragon Ball Z movies this year, so here's Resurrection F. I guess I didn't have it rated. Just, if you like Dragon Ball Z, you're gonna like this movie. You've probably already seen it. It's just action, straight action for an hour and a half. It's fun.
Yeah.
This one more so. I really liked the way they did like the different levels of like Super Saiyan and stuff. You've seen this, right?
I have not.
No,
I don't think. Oh. No. I've seen the Broly one, and then I saw the last one, Akira Toriyama.
Well, it's the most interesting take of Dragon Ball I've ever seen, because typically what will happen is the heroes will be the ones who are not good enough to fight the bad guy. The bad guy's the power creep, right?
Yeah.
That happens in every movie. This is the one exception where they are just way beyond the villain here. So you have to fill the tension with something else. And it's interesting how they do that. So I would recommend that as a good one. We watched the 2 Paddington movies this year. This is the first one. Those are just good movies. You just go watch them. They're more kiddie than the Sonic movies, but they have the same kind of
it's not so much that they're kiddie, it's that they're like family movies. They feel like family.
Yeah, I guess that's more accurate. Family movies. So innocent, but also like have mature themes to them that are just interesting. I don't know. They're just you just watch them. They're good. This is the 2024 Roadhouse remake with Jake Gyllenhaal. It is ridiculous. It makes no sense. It's not as good as the original, but it's just entertaining. The guy, I forget his name, the wrestler or the boxer, fighter, whatever, he's crazy. He's not the best actor, but it's fun to watch. I would buy this if it came with the original in a 2-pack. So Amazon, if you're listening, put out a 2-pack, I'd buy it. Anatomy of a Fall. This was another Oscar movie. 2.5 hours. It was interesting for a good majority of it, but you just took too long. It wasn't an innovative topic. I don't know. It was half courtroom drama, half I don't care. So, and then a lot of it was, I think it's a foreign film. So a lot of it's like in subtitles, which inherently is not a bad thing. But if it's boring and you're making me read, then we have a problem. Bad Kid Begins. This is a documentary. You ever heard of this?
Yes, I have.
This was really good. I really liked it, and it's just really cool. If you know of it, you know of it. Check it out. It's just awesome. And it bonus points for it being in San Francisco, and then obviously it was a true story and it really happened. Mystic River. Who is this? Sean Penn and Tim Robinson, whatever. This is again on my watch list for a while. Finally watched it. It wasn't bad. I think probably a little overrated. This is one of those type of movies. It's like a Scorsese where it automatically gets a bump. I don't think it's an actual Scorsese, but it's like a Scorsese. It's fine. Whatever. Don't really care to watch it again. Nausicaa is another Ghibli. Again, it got an 8. I gave it a 7. I don't remember this one at all. I think there was a war going on, but I guess I don't know. Not bad. I like all the Ghibli. They're good. I like some more than others. Some speak to me more than others, and then some I didn't grow up on, which I think is a reason why a lot of these have like an 8.0. Especially Howl's Moving Castle is the biggest example we'll get to. Rocket Man. This was a movie theater pick we watched.
Yes.
Just like kind of like La Bamba is another like biopic, but this one's more interesting, or it's not more interesting. It's different.
It's different.
Because
it's very different.
It has an interesting angle. It kind of goes more into the head of Elton John, which is more fantastical. So I like having that angle. It leaned more into a musical rather than a biopic.
Yeah, it was definitely a musical.
So I like that. My Thundercats rewatch, 7 out of 10. I don't remember. I think it was an 8 out of 10 before. I think I dropped it to a 7. It's good. I would definitely recommend it. Still wish it got a season 2. It's way mature. I don't know what that TV PG means, but
isn't there blood in this?
I don't know. If there is, it's like plot blood, or it's so violent and graphic that you see blood there when there isn't, if you know what I mean. Like,
yeah,
you can just see the scene with blood in it, but like you actually rewatch it and then it's not there. I don't know. This movie, whatever this is, it's crazy. Watch it. Here's that movie before we go, Chris Evans. I showed this to them recently.
Yeah,
good movie. I like it. Kind of on that list of underrated Chris Evans performances that just go overshadowed. Sword Art Online. We watched this. He watched it when we finished.
I think we should do an episode on Sword Art Online, actually. I think we have a lot to say about it.
Yeah, I think we have a thing on that. I'm currently rewatching it again. I watch this thing like almost every year because, first of all, it's one of my favorite shows, one of my most rewatchable shows, specifically the first 2 seasons. I don't hate the next 2 seasons, but I don't rewatch them as much as the first 2 seasons. The reason it's here is because it dropped from a 9 to an 8, and I was really stubborn on this because I rewatched the series in 2022 when season 4 came out, and I really should have dropped it to an 8 after that. but
Yeah.
I refused to do so because I admitted to bias. I was admitting to bias in my head. I was like, I'm going to leave it a 9, but it's really an 8.
Unfortunately, it kind of suffers from Flash syndrome to a much less degree.
Yeah,
but,
not as extreme as Flash, but the same kind of deal.
Yeah.
But this time around, I was fair. I was like, you know what, I'm going to do it. I dropped it to an 8, but that doesn't change the fact that season 1 is basically a 10 out of 10. Season 2 is like a 9.5 out of 10.
Yeah. First 2 seasons, movie, watch them.
Oh, and the movie. Jeez. Does not include in this rating for the show, but it's part of why I like the show so much. So I finally bought the season 1 and season 2 and the movie on Blu-ray, which cost me like a fortune, but I don't care because I'm going to watch them every year. So I'll get my money's worth. Terminator Salvation, this is another one. I was kind of going through the Terminator movies and waiting for this one to show up on streaming, and it finally did, and it was whatever. No Arnold, which is why I don't think it worked. He's like the whole thing. Christian Bale.
You called him Arnold.
That's it, Arnold. Arnold?
Yes.
Oh. Oops.
Galaxy of Heroes film.
Yep. Anyway, whatever. He's not in it, so I can call him whatever I want. Average. Zone of Interest. Did you watch this with us?
No.
Yeah, we didn't like this. I watched this with my parents, and it was like we got what they were going for in the first 5 minutes of the movie, and then it went on for another hour and 40 minutes. And it's like, you cannot. That's not a movie. That is a waste of time. That's the definition of a waste of time. And this isn't even 2 hours, so you know you messed up. So again, a Best Picture nominee. It won Best International Film. I would disagree. I would just flat out disagree. I shouldn't have been on that list. Sherlock Holmes. I think this was your pick.
That was my pick. Yeah. I had wanted to watch this one for a while.
Yeah.
Another one.
They really like it. I enjoy it. Don't really like it, but I enjoy it. I think the most interesting thing about it is that it's a Guy Ritchie movie, and I think anyone who is a fan of these movies probably like doesn't associate the two. You either have Guy Ritchie movies or you have the Sherlock Holmes movies.
Yeah,
but
I wish they would do the third one, but they just aren't.
It's coming, as far as I know. Howl's Moving Castle, there it is. Again, don't kill me for giving it a 7 out of 10, but I like it. I'll need to rewatch it. This is the other Christian Bale Howl's Moving Castle. A lot of Christian Bale so far.
I have not seen Howl's Moving Castle, so that is on my list of ones I probably should watch.
These are all safe watches. They're going to be good. You're going to like them. Just depends on how much you like them. I think
big animation fan, so
yeah, you would probably like them more than me because of the animation. But I think Pixar kind of ruined animation for me, and I know that's 3D versus 2D, but it's the fact once you've seen greatness before, it doesn't hit every single time.
It becomes standard.
Yeah, you know it's good. You know Ghibli is going to be excellent hand-drawn 2D animation. You know Pixar is going to be excellently detailed 3D animation. It doesn't do anything for me anymore. You got to have an actual story there. You got to have good characters. Not saying that this didn't. I'm just saying, you know what my point is.
Yeah.
Tales 2. This counts as an actual show because it's on here. This is technically a super mini series. There's like 5-minute episodes on YouTube.
You're gonna have to re-rate this.
Well, eventually, when it's done, it's still going.
It's not gonna be done for a long time.
Probably not. No, I think it's a 7. I mean, it's short. It doesn't really do a whole lot except for add a tiny bit to the characters and give you a little bit more of what you want. It's really good as what it does, but for what it is, it's only a 7 out of 10. It's not like a whole show, which is the only reason I give it a 7. But it's still solid. I mean, if you're a Sonic fan, there's no reason not to watch this. It's so short. You tune in every 3 months and they put one out or whatever. And the fact that they get the actual voice actress for Tails is awesome. Godzilla x Kong. I think it's the first one we actually went to a theater for. No, I went to Madame Web, unfortunately. But all of us went to go see this in a theater.
Yeah, this might have been my first theater movie.
Yeah, good, entertaining, and that's about all you expected from it, and that's about all it was. So there you go.
Yeah, you know what you're getting, and you get it.
Yep, you did a job. Iron Claw. This I'm not a wrestling fan. This is a good movie, and it's really tough. I don't even want to talk about it right now, but it's just really tough. I would recommend it. Just watch it. Good movie though. That one probably got robbed at the Oscars for performance, but that one deserves a Best Picture nomination over half of the movies that were nominated last year. Even Barbie, like that is a movie. That is an actual movie. Anyone who's seen it will tell you that.
Maestro.
Yeah, get out of here. Argyle. I had Apple at the time. They threw us on Apple. Watched it. It was fine. Henry Cavill's in it. Great. Sam Rockwell is in it. It's pretty good. But it went off the edge a bit. It's from the guy who makes the Kingsman movies, and it kind of leans too much into the over-stylized action that's filmed like dance sequences. It's just too much. It was interesting for the first half, and then the second half kind of goes off the rails. So Teen Titans, I watched the whole series because I got this for Christmas, so I got to it and watched it, and it's good.
Yeah.
And you should watch it if you've never seen it. And Robin is OP. Usual Suspects, fine. Probably a bit overrated in my opinion, but it's a good movie. I think this makes top 250 movies of all time. But After Hours, I think this is a Scorsese if I remember correctly. And it's not one of the better Scorseses. It's whatever. Did I say it's whatever? It's whatever.
Yeah.
The Spy X Family movie, which I went to go see in theaters, actually, because I like supporting when anime movies actually get released here in dubbed form. I like to go support those. It's not bad. It's on par with the show, maybe a little bit less. I think there were some parts that just went way too far. If you've seen it, you know what I'm talking about. But it's not bad. It's what you would expect, I guess.
I want to watch season 2 in that movie sometime, but
it keeps the charm from the show, which is what was the important part. Alice in Wonderland. Okay, we did this as a double feature, as a movie thing. Original Alice in Wonderland, and then the Aristocats. I like the Aristocats. Good movie.
Yeah,
pretty good. I don't really care for Alice in Wonderland. It's a whole lot of visuals for an hour. That's cool if you grew up with it. Not for me.
Very hot take. I think the live action one is just way better.
I got to rewatch the live action one. I think it's on my watch list, but I don't have Disney Plus at the moment, so I haven't.
Yeah.
North by Northwest. This is a Alfred Hitchcock with Cary Grant in color. It's crazy. It's good.
Yeah.
I'm not a huge Hitchcock guy. I'm sure when I'm older, I'll probably become a Hitchcock guy. That seems to be what happens.
Wait. Sonic Boom is an 8.
I'll get to that in a second. It went up a point. It's going up. Okay, forget that movie. Sonic.
No. How is this not a 10 for you?
I'm getting there.
Put this at a 10 for you. I don't care what you think you would rate it. It is a 10 for you because you won't shut up about it.
I think I will bump it up to a 10 out of 10. I'll write a re-review of this, whatever you call it. This is the best show I saw all last year. This show is hilarious. It is incredibly smartly written. The voice actors are nailing every single delivery. I've heard a podcast of the Tales actress talk about her experience working on this show. They said they were dying laughing every single day they went to go record this, and I can see it. This is just awesome. This show is amazing. It is not for just kids. I don't care who you are. If you somewhat like Sonic, if you like the movies, check this show out. If you watch things like I was seeing like people watch like Chowder and Regular Show, those kind of shows where it's like you like that kind of humor, which are technically kids cartoons, but like adults watch them. That's what this is basically. I would throw this in with those kinds of shows, even SpongeBob, that kind of stuff.
I have not seen this show yet, but Nick here got me the full Blu-ray set for Christmas, so we're gonna watch it.
Yep, we're gonna watch it. We're gonna finish DC Legends, and I'm gonna make an executive decision that we should just watch that. You could probably knock it out.
We have like 3 other shows lined up, but like we're gonna watch this anyway.
It's fairly short. They're only 11-minute episodes. There is no excuse not to watch a show. It is so good. Yeah. It's just, if anything, okay. There's one other show which I'll get to, if I remember correctly. There's only one other show that I think I've come around on that now I'm going to start recommending, but it took me like a year. Watch Sonic Boom. Jesus, it is top 5 shows of all time for me now. I'll probably bump it up to a 10 because it is that rewatchable. I watched it 3 times last year. This is the initial viewing. I watched it again when I got the Steelbook for it, and then I watched it again after I custom cases for it. You can kind of see.
He liked it so much, he learned how to make custom Blu-ray cases for it.
I'm not even joking. Like I have never done that with Star Wars or DC content.
How is it then?
But this is an initial viewing was between. I think technically it was an 8 or a 9, but it takes a little bit to warm up to it. But like once you see it once through all the way through, and you like kind of understand the whole thing, you're like, that was amazing. And then you go back and watch it again, and then like it keeps going up. I could stand here all day and talk about this, but we got to move on. Just watch the show; it's so awesome. Amadeus. This was a recommendation I got technically from a YouTuber who was singing nonstop praises about it, saying it was like a 10 out of 10, all this stuff. I guess it's just not for me. I can kind of see how it's really good, but it's one of those like time period pieces about old people in like the 1700s or whatever. I don't care. It was good. It was objectively well made and crafted and good, but how much you like it will depend on if you like that kind of thing. Theory of Everything was a Best Picture nominee, I believe, not winner. So that's just why that's here. I'm, we're doing our Oscar series. I'm going through certain movies. This was a good one. Really holds it up. Eddie Redmayne performance. I'm really coming around on this guy. I think he's going to be one of my new favorite actors. But he's really good in pretty much everything I've seen. And he won for this movie, Best Actor. And so, pretty good. I don't even want to show this because I just got downvoted if anyone's even watching it still at this point. I'm not a Call of Duty super fan. I would say I'm a pretty casual fan, I would call myself. I've played a lot of the games. I don't know, this one didn't... Okay, to be fair, I didn't really play multiplayer. Everyone likes this game for the multiplayer. The campaign is good. I think it suffered from gameplay again. A lot of repetitive gameplay segments. The story was good. I think a lot of people would probably agree that the story is good.
See, I think one thing about a lot of these older shooters in particular suffer from this, but other games do too, is that they start to show their age relatively quickly when a new game comes along that just creates an innovation that you can't really go without.
Yeah.
And games like Black Ops that were like really good for the time and are still solid just can't be as good. You cannot rate them as highly as they once were just because it lacks some of those modern features that are just quality of life things, not even like movement things or anything, just quality of life stuff.
It's fine. It's an average shooter if you ask me, but whatever. I stand by it. Do what you want. Good Girl. This was a Jake Gyllenhaal movie. He was like really young in this, and it was all right. It was fine. I was just checking it out because it had Jake Gyllenhaal in it. Knuckles. Oh boy. So I think Halo. Oh, okay, we'll get some Halo coming up. I got Paramount Plus trial because Knuckles came out and they put all the episodes out at once. So I spent a whole day watching this show. I really liked the first episode. Second episode was all right. I hated the third episode and hated the rest of the show. If you know about the show, you already know why I don't like it. You already know. I don't know why it says 23 to 24. It came out in 24 and only 24, but okay. It's, I don't know. Just don't even bother. Watch the first episode and then don't bother with the rest. It doesn't do anything for the third movie. I can confirm that now.
Yeah.
So just disappointing, but it did not affect my care for the franchise at all. I will say that. But I watched it immediately because I cared about the franchise. Here's Paddington 2, solid sequel to solid first entry. Just as good as this first one, I guess. We will see all three parts of Crisis on Infinite Earths in here. I think part 1 is the best. I gave it a 7 out of 10. This one is focused on the Flash. Each one is kind of focused on a certain hero. This one's Flash focused.
Yeah.
I thought it was the strongest. Past Lives. I guess we still haven't gotten to Oscars yet because I believe this was a Best Picture nominee.
No.
Again, this one deserved to be there. This is a good one. And this was, again, kind of what would, on paper, be considered a boring movie. I think a lot of it's with subtitles. So it's like, on paper, it's like, and that's not for me. you watch it, it's actually compelling, good characters, good story, not 2 hours long. This isn't impossible to do. You can do it, and it's proven that you can. So, I don't know. You get half of them right, you get half of them wrong. I'm just waiting for the day they get them all right, which will never happen. But this is a good one. I would recommend it. I've even heard other people who have seen it say they like it. So, yeah, something to say there?
No, I just saw what was coming out.
All right, so Halo TV show season 2. I don't typically review individual episodes of shows. I'll just watch the show and then give the whole show a rating. Because I'm a huge Halo fan and there's not a whole lot of Halo content, I just went ahead and did each episode so I kind of keep track of how I was feeling. So 5 out of 10 means it was all right. So first 2 was all right. Started off. This is season 2. Episode 3, worse. I didn't like it. I don't remember what happens in each of these episodes. If you know these episodes, you probably know what happened. Here's a movie with Ben Affleck and Samuel L. Jackson, which is pretty interesting, but I guess I didn't think it was super interesting because I only gave it a 6. It was fine, from what I remember. Kind of like, it's one of those interesting kind of movies, but whatever. It's fine. Here we go. 8 out of 10 for Reach. This would have been a 10 out of 10 if he was in his suit, but guess what? Master Chief doesn't wear his armor in this show, so... but it was cool. It was filmed in like a one-take thing where they're fighting the Covenant. It was like street-level firefights and stuff. It's like, where was this the entire part of the show? And just put him in your armor, make this the whole show, you would have had a hit. You would have a season 3 coming out this year. But guess what? You got canceled because you decided to make Quan, the chosen Quan. So stupid. And then we go immediately from that to a 5 out of 10. Congratulations. Fences. This was a Best Picture nominee for, I'm guessing, 2016 or 2017 Oscars with Denzel in it. And ultimately, it's a good movie. I don't think I'd ever care to rewatch it. It's basically just... there's some interesting stuff in there besides this, but it's basically just Denzel putting on a really good performance. But I guess it had enough there, so I gave it a 7 out of 10. Got a couple more Halo episodes here, 5 out of 10, 4 out of 10, and then the last one, 5 out of 10. So, congratulations, I guess.
What a great show.
Yeah. No Country for Old Men. I watched this in the car going to an A's game. So, that's all I remember from that. It's good. I liked it. Probably a little overrated. That's a lot of reviews. Holy.
Yeah. That is a movie I have heard everybody talk about.
Yeah, it is good. It is a good movie. It's just, again, I guess it's not like for me where it's like, wow, that was great. You know, it's like I recognize good movies. I enjoy some movies more than others.
Yeah.
8 Men Out, again, really good movie.
Oh yeah.
I always enjoy a John Cusack movie. It's probably the least John Cusack he's ever been, which is fine. But it's good movie, interesting, especially if you're a baseball fan. Probably should check that out. Cowboy Bebop, the movie. I watched the show, thought it was good, but not great. That is like the highest rated anime ever, or one of them. Animes get pretty highly rated. The show comes up as being objectively one of the best animes ever. I would disagree, but I would still like it. And then the movie, I'd probably say the movie is better than the show, but it's pretty on par with the show. If you like the show, you're going to like the movie, I would say. This is the Michael J. Fox documentary that was on Apple, which is pretty interesting. If you like Back to the Future, you like Michael J. Fox, I'm assuming. So I would give this a watch. It's kind of interesting hearing about his life, especially since you don't really hear about him. Well, he doesn't do anything really now. And if you know why, you've seen the thing or whatever. But it's just interesting hearing kind of his story and about his experience. I always like hearing things like that. The Eagle, I think this is my first rating for it. This is not the first time I'd seen it, but the first time I'd rated it. Yeah. Pretty solid movie. And I forgot Hugh Jackman was in this movie, so when I started watching it, I was like, holy... It's like, I didn't... It like way threw me off. Super 8, this is a movie that Grant had been trying to get me to watch for years. So I finally watched it, and it was fine. I liked it. It's a J.J. Abrams movie, so of course it missed. It had it. It started out as a group of friends filming movies. Like, in their group, like, you know, getting friends together and filming their little movies. Like, that's awesome. I want to watch that. And then aliens show up. Okay, I'm out. It's like, what the heck are we doing? I was stupid. Like, it started out, I was so in, and then I was so out. I don't know. It's like, why couldn't you just make a movie about friends making movies? That sounds awesome.
What you just said reminds me of the ending of Bolt, where they joke a whole movie about just throwing in aliens, and they actually do it.
It's literally this movie. And I'm pretty sure Bolt came out before Super 8. Shang-Chi, this is my second watch of this, and I bumped it up from a 6 to a 7. I think, and I don't just think that's because the rest of Marvel recently had been bad. I think it actually is a 7. I appreciate the martial arts in this movie. Have you seen it?
Yeah, no, we watched it.
Okay, I can't remember.
Yeah, no. Shang-Chi is, like, it feels like kind of a classic Marvel movie, which is the best compliment you can give a movie like that, right?
Yeah.
It feels like a classic good Marvel movie. You slot it into like phase 2 or 3, it would not feel out of place.
Yeah, it works. There are some Adam Sandler movies in here that have been on my list since 2020 as well that I'm just kind of knocking off. Some of them are fine, some of them were Adam Sandler slog, and I'm sure I'll get some hate on a few of them because all of these are classics considered. I'm doing the air quotes classics. But
classics or Adam Sandler classics?
Adam Sandler classic. I guess that's the way you put it.
Okay.
So this one was actually not bad. They kind of had him do like a father figure thing, but like he wasn't, you know, the not qualified to be a father figure. So he's like giving bad example for the kid. But the kid made this work because the kid, again, could have been a bad actor. He could have been cringy. He wasn't. So this one's not bad. I wouldn't mind watching that one again. Mulan animation, I think, again, this was a bump up from a 6 to a 7.
Yeah,
I think.
I don't know why you would give Mulan a 6.
Again, I don't know. I watched this originally in like 2020. Well, not originally, but I rated it originally in 2020. Something was just off in 2020.
Mulan is it's debatably my favorite Disney princess movie.
Yeah,
it is good. Very good.
And the songs are good too. So it's a good classic Disney. I still like Aladdin more, I think, but yeah, good. Okay, it's gonna take a minute. Toradora. I'll be the first to admit it. I'll just admit it. The show made me cry, and it was the first thing that ever did so. And I didn't want to recommend it to anyone because it was so. Of course, people might view it differently. People might get different reactions from it, but I think objectively it's just that good. I've never seen two characters developed so perfectly over 25 episodes, apparently. Yeah, I don't know. Forget the fact that it's an anime. Forget anything about it. It's just an absolute 10 out of 10 character study. It's not. The show's not a 10 out of 10 because I think it focused in the wrong direction for a little bit of it, which needed to be there because all of it in the end culminated into what you get with the two characters. But it doesn't change the fact that some time was spent in a direction that I would have rather spent here, right? So yeah. Wow. Just that's it. That's the only thing. There's two things now that have ever made me cry. That's one.
What was the other one?
We'll get to the other one at the end. And that one's not going to make any sense, but it kind of will make sense. But yeah, this one hurt. But it's that good. It's a good hurt, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
But yeah, my God, I think it made top 3 favorite anime for me now. Gran Turismo. I watched this because I make an effort to watch all positively received video game movies because I like video games. I want good video game movies to exist, especially after seeing Sonic. I was not going to say no to this just in case, and it was fine. I think the problem was probably the lead. It was pretty cliche, all this stuff. It's cool, but it's pretty by the numbers. Not bad. My Cousin Vinny, this was an increase. I think I had this at a 7 before. This is an obvious 8. This is at least an 8. This is one of the funniest movies I've ever seen, and I am not easy to please in the comedy department. This movie's hilarious. This is a top 10 comedy, probably top 5. But if you've never seen this, watch it. Masters of the Air, we watched this.
Yeah.
I forgot that this was this year already.
It was a while ago, to be fair.
Yeah, really good. again, I would put this on par with Band of Brothers. I've said that before. I think Band of Brothers is better. I think this is better than The Pacific. I really appreciate this angle because you do not see this before. Like, the way this is done, the stuff that this focuses on, even it focuses on POWs, which really isn't brought that much attention to. I just really like this show, and I really hope it gets a physical.
Having seen both it and The Pacific, and having not seen Band of Brothers, I think the two shows are a lot more different than you would think, like, initially. Mm-hmm. But I do think that they're both definitely worth watching. I think Masters of the Air, I think it has the middle part of it is probably my favorite part of the entire show.
Just to put this in perspective of how objectively well made Masters of the Air is, all that talk I just did about Toradora and Sonic Boom, which are both 8 out of 10s. To be fair, Sonic Boom should probably be a 10 out of 10. But I still stand by Toradora's 8 out of 10. I gave this a 9.
Yeah.
So, there you go. All right.
Yeah.
And Austin Butler.
Yep.
Okay. Blowout. This is John Travolta. This is a very interesting movie. It's I like the angle that he was like a sound mixer for like Hollywood movies or something, and then he like hears something that he shouldn't have, and then all this stuff happens. It's a pretty interesting kind of thriller type thing. I liked it. Wouldn't mind owning that one. Sacred Blacksmith, pretty average. Anime, probably wouldn't check that one out. Smallville, I got this for Christmas in 2023, so I watched it starting in January of 2024. It took me about 5 months to watch 10 seasons, 217 episodes.
Wasn't this a re-rate?
Yes, so I watched this originally in 2020 again. I think I gave it a 5 out of 10 because I was so burnt out on it. Like 10 seasons is a lot. But I had seen things, I'd heard things, listened to podcasts, all this stuff about it, and I wanted to rewatch it, and I remembered it fondly after some time had passed. So I thought I would, be okay owning it and watching it. So I did, and I really liked it, and it still holds up. It's a very rewatchable show. It's a comfort show. It doesn't waste a whole lot of time. Some of the you have 23 episode seasons. Some of the later seasons kind of have a lot of filler. It's like, whatever, I don't care about this much. But there's always something there that feels like it has a reason to exist and why the show's still going. Probably could have cut it a couple seasons, early. But compared to The Flash, who just wastes 4 seasons of time for no reason, like, this is a pretty good show. I would recommend it. I think even as not a DC fan, I think you should probably check it out. It's that good. I would do like 1 through 5, and then you'd probably make it all the way through. But if you were getting sick of it, you could probably cut it. But I think on your first viewing, you would probably go all the way through. Definitely take your time with it, though. Don't rush through it like I did, because then you'll hate it. So do that. Kind of relevant to this, Kicking It Old School has Michael Rosenbaum in it, who was in Smallville, who I like. So I checked this movie out. It was whatever. He was fine in it. It was interesting seeing this. I think is out of place. This is not a 2007 movie. This is like either a late 90s or early 2000s. It was fine, I guess. It had funny parts in it. Under the Silver Lake was considered, I think it's either a neo-noir or a new noir. I don't remember which the correct term is, but it's a kind of noir film noir, new age thing, whatever. Andrew Garfield
noir is actually like a really cool way to say it.
Noir?
Yeah,
maybe that's the term. I don't know. Had Andrew Garfield in it, so I checked it out, and I didn't really like it. Of course, he was good in it, but I think that the story was just too wacky, I guess. I don't know. It's a whole lot of whatever. A couple of Dragon Ball Z movies. Oh, we got a trilogy here. Oh, I did a trilogy of my 3-pack of Broly. So, first one was good. Second one was okay. Third one was okay. The new Broly movie, I think, is superior to all 3 of these. I think the new character of Broly is superior to all 3 of these. Talladega Nights, another one that had been recommended to me before. I'm just not a Will Ferrell guy. I don't care for Will Ferrell, so that one didn't really do it for me. Sonic Prime, I obviously watched this because at this point I was a Sonic fan and I was watching everything I could get my hands on. I meant to put this off until later. There was other shows I needed to watch before this. I literally could not help myself. I'm like, I don't care. I'm just watching it now. And it is, if I'm being completely honest, the show is a 6 out of 10 probably, or 6.5, somewhere in there. A lot of the fans really like it. If you're a fan, it's going to be better.
Before you give your reasoning, comments. Just like give a quick guess as to why you think he gave it a 7. You know, just a wild guess.
In my defense, it is technically not Tails. Tails is technically not in the show. It is 9, but it is such an interesting take on the character. I had to give a whole extra point for that character because he is that good. He is that interesting, and eventually we'll watch this a bit later because it's on the shorter side. It's good. I think it's not too long. Also, you could probably just watch it in like a day or two, probably a couple days. But it's nothing amazing. There's a lot of they do the thing I don't like where you kind of stay in the same place for a long time and don't really do a whole lot. So that Dragon Ball Z thing, that's what it is. They stay on planet Namek for a whole season, and then it's like, all right, I'm over this. You saw this, not at the same time I did, but you saw this.
But I did see it, yes.
This is a Lego documentary narrated by Jason Bateman, which is very interesting, very insightful, and I appreciated how it looked at many different aspects of not only the product but the culture and it as a hobby, different parts of the hobby. It is just an all-around pretty interesting thing. If you are interested in Lego, I would check that out.
I do think parts of it have not aged that well, though.
Yes, it is an older thing. It doesn't it's kind of like a time capsule of Lego at the time. Some of it still holds. I'd say a lot of it still holds. Some of it is kind of a little weird, but
it almost feels like Star Wars in that aspect, where it.
Yeah, well, yeah. If you were to watch a Star Wars documentary from like 2010, it would have nothing to do with Star Wars now.
Yeah.
First Equalizer. This was a movie theater pick. Pretty good. This was like a John Wick-esque type of thing, so not bad. Not as good as John Wick in my opinion, but still pretty good.
It's different. It's different.
Yeah, definitely different.
A lot more character focused rather than action focused.
Aquaman TV show pilot episode, which did not get picked up, so this is a weird one. It was all right. I like Justin Hartley. I don't know why they went with him for Aquaman instead of the other guy, but whatever. It clearly wasn't interesting enough to get picked up. It would have been really weird seeing a show that had a lot of underwater stuff in it at the time, especially for this time. I think it was just too ambitious and too early. It was just weird.
Well, it was before everybody liked Aquaman, so...
Also true. Aquaman was not yet brought to mainstream by Jason Momoa, so...
Yeah, dude. That was back when Aquaman was like the joke fish suit guy, you know?
Ultimately, like, this could be a discussion for another time, but I don't know if an Aquaman show would ever really work. I watched that other old animated one.
I think an animated one could work.
I did watch the old animated one. I didn't like it.
That's because it was like the old like Super Friends one.
Yeah, Robin was cool. Robin was part of the Super Friends. He's on the same level as Superman. That's what happens. All right. Forgetting Sarah Marshall's a movie I heard about like forever, and so I finally checked it out, and it was whatever. I'm not a huge Jason Segel fan. It's fine, but it's just not for me. Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes, I saw this in theaters with Cody, actually, and it was fine. I think it was too long. It dragged on some parts. Not as good as the original trilogy, or not the original trilogy, but like the Matt Reeves trilogy. I like those more going on. This is fine, though. It's fine. I don't know if I'd care to own it. I have the other trilogy, but did not make my best movies of the year list, put it that way. A couple of Toradora shorts here, which were... This one was not as good. This one was fine. Watched Rango. That was interesting. I didn't like it too much, apparently.
Well, you aren't a fan of Westerns, so that makes sense.
I'm not a fan of Westerns. I also think it's a very odd choice to go with this style of animation for what is technically a kid's film, although we went over this. Just because it's animated doesn't mean it's a kid's film, but...
Rango is not a kid's film.
If you were to ask the studio who put it in theaters, yes, it was a kid's film.
Well, that's because the studio is stupid.
Well, it was just wrong. You can't market it as one thing and have it be another thing. So whatever. I don't really care for Rango. Hitman, we watched. I think we all watched this, right? This is the Glenn Powell Netflix movie where he's like.
Oh yeah.
He was a cop faking to be a hitman or something like that. I don't know. Good. I enjoyed this. Entertaining. Gifted. This was the other Chris Evans movie. I really like this one. This is this one I actually, when I saw it, I asked if it got nominated for Best Picture. That's how good I thought it was when I first saw it. I don't even remember how I came across this movie. I think I was just looking for good Chris Evans movies, but I have never heard anyone talk about this. I've never heard it mentioned on anything ever. Check it out. You got to check.
The girl should have been nominated for Best Supporting Actress. Come on.
Yeah. Leon the Professional. I watched this with my parents. I don't think you watched this.
Professional?
I don't think little Natalie Portman.
Yeah, no, I've seen that, but I didn't watch it that year. We've watched it before, though.
Oh, maybe you watched it without me, and then I watched it with them or something. I don't know.
Yeah, maybe.
It is fine. I liked it, but I think it's way overrated. It's interesting, though. Gary Oldman's in it. She's pretty good. Go Sick. This is one... I put this in my order. Right after, like the day after I saw Toradora, I went to go buy it, and I needed to get another show to get like free shipping or whatever, so I threw this one in, which was on sale. I ended up really liking it. It's a, I guess a Victorian-esque mystery show, which is pretty unique for an anime, and I think it works for the most part. There's obviously some things that weren't there because I only gave it a 7, but it's a high 7. Yeah. It's on the higher end of 7. I want to rewatch it pretty soon, and the intro song and visuals are really cool, so I like this. Great Wall, Matt Damon movie. Don't care for it. It was pretty not great. Higher Ground. This is a Hayden Christensen TV show, and it was interesting, but it just wasn't great. I don't know. He was fine in it. Everyone was fine in it. It's just kind of the subject was it was too dramatic. I don't know. They were focusing on things.
It was the writing.
I'm struggling to blame it on any particular thing. I just think it wasn't super interesting. I don't know. It was just too much, I guess. It was fine. I would never care to rewatch it. Wouldn't really recommend it, but a lot of other people seem to like it. Music and lyrics. This is a Hugh Grant, Drew Barrymore movie, which I really liked. They're like I think she was a songwriter, and then he was like a performer or the singer. I don't remember what the dynamic was, but it was a really good movie. I liked it. And it's short, so it's good. Flushed Away. This one wasn't terrible. Again, surprise Hugh Jackman. Yeah. I liked it. It's fine. Nothing to say. Is that the first DreamWorks that we've come across?
I think so. Oh. So this would be when you started your DreamWorks, which will be in part 2 a lot.
Yeah,
then,
not started DreamWorks, more like resumed it, or started for this year anyway. I guess I took a break from DreamWorks and did Ghibli because I'd already done like the like obviously all the Shrek movies.
Well, you did all the franchise DreamWorks ones, but you didn't do like DreamWorks itself.
I'm currently doing Madagascar. I just watched the second one today, actually. Krypton. This is in my quest to watch everything DC ever, and it wasn't bad. You know, compared to something like Halo, I cared more about the characters going on, but it just wasn't enough. It looked good, I'll give it that. Like for a network TV show like this, it looked pretty good.
I could hear you want to say CW.
I don't know, it technically was not a CW, I don't think. I think they eventually put it on CW, but it only got 2 seasons, 10 episodes a season, so it was kind of a high budget type deal. But just the source I don't care about. Like, it takes place like 100, 200 years before Superman or whatever the heck. It's like, Superman, it took me forever to care about Superman. Now you want me to care about his great-grandfather or whatever fighting for Krypton's power? I don't care. Like, just, you need to come up with a more interesting premise than that for a show.
Why would you care about Krypton's, like, power and economy and like social status?
I'm pretty sure,
you know it's just gonna explode.
Exactly. Well, part of the second season's plot was that they found out it was supposed to explode eventually, which that's a whole other thing. Why that even makes sense. But then they were like arguing what they should do about it, whether they just accept their fate or fight it. And I'm like, guess what? It's gonna blow up. No one cares. I don't care. Can we do something else? It's like, it was just stupid. And then they did like Doomsday and Zod, and it's like, how?
Man of Steel kind of did it best for.
Yeah,
they just like
the interesting story is with Superman. Can we leave everything else out of it? Like, Smallville is infinitely more interesting than Krypton, and that's still technically not Superman, but it kind of is Superman. It's got everything about Superman minus the guy himself. 24-Hour Party People. This one was a really weird movie. Really weird. It's not terrible. It kind of gives you an insight into, like, I guess 90s British new wave. What that scene was like, which I don't know. It was the music part of it was interesting. The rest of it, not so much. So, probably wouldn't recommend it or watch it again. Atlantis. I liked this. I think my biggest problem with it was I think Michael J. Fox was probably miscast as the guy.
Yeah.
It just was a little weird. Hearing that voice and seeing the guy just didn't match. But overall, good movie. All right. Apparently, this is going to be a part 1 and a part 2. Thanks for watching. We'll do part 2. Whatever.